This is the WOKV Ask the Experts Weekend, discussing things that matter most to you. Local experts answering your questions. Call 855-765-1045. That's 855-765-1045. Now, the Consumer Law Hour with Eddie and Chuck Farah.
Good afternoon, Jacksonville. You're listening to the Consumer Law Hour on 104.5 WOKV, Jacksonville's News and Talk. My name's Scott Young, joined every week by Chuck and Eddie from the law firm of Farah Farah, as they're taking your legal questions at 855-765-1045. If you've got questions, our legal experts are here to help. 855-765-1045. Lines are open. Good afternoon, fellas. Welcome back.
Thanks, Scott.
It's good to be here, Scott.
How's your weekend going so far, guys?
We're holding up, my man.
Right on, right on. So when we wrapped up the show last week, we were just starting to get into a discussion about the potential formation of labor unions. Did you want to come back and invest?
Oh, yeah.
Because you were talking about the Hulkster and Vince McMahon.
Right. But we're talking about independent contractors and people, when you have people come over to your house to do work. That's what kind of led into that. And you always want to be careful about the control you have over people that come over to your home, whether it's a housekeeper, a tree trimmer, carpenter, electrician, because once you start exerting control over that person and tell them how to do their job, that opens you up for liability. So somebody gets hurt on your property, they're doing work, and you're controlling the way they do work, and they claim you were negligent, you didn't tell them about, a hole in the ground or maybe a slippery surface, you've got liability there. So, and what that led into was, what happened in professional wrestling, years ago. This was like in the 80s, and where Jesse the Body Ventura was trying to form a union. He tried to get the wrestlers to unionize because they were being treated like independent contractors. But really, their lives were controlled by Vince McMahon. He told them when to show up. He told them where to show up. He told them how to act. He controlled their everything. So Jesse said, "Look, guys, we could union. Let's unionize because right now we don't have any benefits.
Yeah, there are rights that come along with being an employee and not an independent contractor.
Yeah, you got no health insurance. You've got no retirement.
Workers' comp protection.
Comp. You got exactly. You got all these benefits you'll get as an employee, and he tried to unionize. Hulk Hogan rats him out to Vince McMahon. So Jesse the Body gets a phone call from Vince McMahon. He says, "Listen, you're out of here. You keep that talk up, you're gone."
Strong arm.
Yeah, he owns everything. I mean, Vince. I mean, he's on top of the.
We see how it finished up on that. So yeah,
he's on top of the heap. He's on top of the. Yeah, it is. And so what happened? I think at WrestleMania 2, he throws some money back to Hulk. That's when he fought Andre the Giant. And Hulk Hogan on that one match made more money than all the wrestlers put together, I think, on WrestleMania 2. So it was a big payoff. But Jesse the Body ended up getting he became an actor and a governor.
He was a governor of Minnesota.
Yeah, so he's a member of the Actors Guild, so he's got benefits and all that. So he didn't need it, but he was looking after his fellow wrestlers. As you know, anybody who follows wrestling, these guys have hard times. Once they're not in the limelight anymore, it's really tough on them. You can just read about it,
How much did Vince make just for treating them as independents?
Oh, yeah. He saved a ton of money.
I don't think they've got that many zeros figured out yet, man.
Exactly.
Yeah, they don't. It goes to infinity.
Yeah, he goes to
and beyond.
He goes to infinity. No, you're right. Vince, that's what he is. I mean, he controlled it. He had a monopoly. But now you have All Elite Wrestling. Shad Khan's sons.
Yeah, watch out.
Yeah, he's coming. Yeah, they've got a nice. They play some good. There's some good matches there. I've been watching some of that. But
they've put together quite a roster of up and coming talent as well as a few veterans to kind of guide where they want this program to develop.
Yeah, they got what Vince did. We'll get back into the law, but Vince this week fired his CEO. He seized the threat from All Elite Wrestling, and he hired this guy that. A guy originally from Iran who was a big Iron Sheik fan, but this guy is running he's running Vince's show right now. But All Elite is
Vince the billionaire.
Yeah, I know.
Multi-billionaire.
We'll see what happens.
Oh, not a bad situation to be in.
Yeah.
And a bold venture by Tony Khan and Shad Khan, but wishing them a lot of success.
Yeah.
Particularly because they're basing it out of Jacksonville.
Yeah, that's right. They have some matches out here, and we've gone. There was one here.
Nick Sobek is the one in house who's kind of helping them run it.
Yeah, and we sponsored that one match. It was a lot of fun. We were there. We kind of got out of hand a little bit, but that's all right.
That's okay.
A couple of us jumped in the ring.
They weren't ready to handle the legal brothers.
Yeah, I know. We had to get escorted out of there, but that's okay. That's part of it.
We came off the top ring rope.
So anyway, let's get back to really what matters right now.
Laying some justice on them.
Yeah, but anyway, getting back, we had talked about something about the car insurance rates, and again, we know. I was just looking yesterday, just for the heck of it, and in Jacksonville, compared to a year ago, there are 22% less auto accidents in the city. Orlando, compared to last year, 40%. And these insurance companies, if you look at what's being written about them, their profits they're making billions and billions. And I just don't see the rebates coming back. They're just holding on to it. They've sent a little. I know my son received $40 back on his insurance policy, but you're talking about billions and billions of dollars of profits. I mean, they've cut staff because there are less claims. I was in Tampa this week, and Travelers shut down one of their claims offices because there's no need for them. And so they're saving on labor, they're saving on claims, they're saving on money. And what they're doing on the legal side, because we deal with this every day, they're trying to jack you around because there are no jury trials right now. And so without a jury trial, you either settle or you go to a trial. And if you don't like, or if they're not offering you the right kind of money, then you've got to file your lawsuit and get a trial date. But without a deadline, like a pending trial date, they have no reason to settle with you, right, Chuck?
Yeah, they can just keep pushing it off, and that's not good for. Yeah, they got their money in the bank. The victim or the plaintiff is without work, injured, needs medical care, and they can't get it because it depends on.
And they're offering you half of what the case is worth.
Right.
So you've got to.
It's uneven playing field. It really is at this point.
Yeah, it's very uneven, and hopefully these courts are going to open back up again, hopefully soon, because we haven't had any jury trials since March. The courthouses have been shut down.
They're testing out this virtual jury trial, which just it doesn't work. I don't think it's going to work.
Yeah, how you get if you've got somebody that's got a life-changing injury and they're asking for $1 million and you see them on a screen, how can you really evaluate that person, what they really need over a screen? You've got to.
Yeah, there's a lot of nonverbal communication that takes place during a trial that you don't get the sense of. You don't get to feel that or see it over the air, over the internet.
Yeah. And plus, you don't know what the jurors are doing. You're not there.
Yeah.
I guess the jurors are home or in the courtroom somewhere separated. I don't know how they do that. Are the jurors in the courthouse in a separate?
I don't know. I know some of our lawyers were part of kind of a presentation by the court. Some of the judges, local judges here, because our courthouse and our district was selected to try one of these test pilot one of these virtual trials, and so they wanted to kind of present it to the local lawyers. And I know several of our lawyers went and listened in on the presentation. But I think it's just all Zoom. You'll have Zoom. The jury will be in a Zoom room. Yeah, they may be home, but they'll be linked together.
Yeah, but how you know somebody's not talking to the juror? Influencing the juror, or the jurors on Facebook trying to check out what's going on with the client or the defense lawyers.
As the trial's going on.
Yeah, there's all the kind of shenanigans that could happen. That's why the courtroom is so beautiful. It's a controlled environment.
Yeah.
You're getting a fair shake. There are rules in place that ensure you're getting a fair shake. But anyway, we'll see how that turns out. But that's why the insurance companies right now are just counting. They're on top of the world right now. I guess if you're an investor, you're probably buying insurance stocks right now because, believe me, they're taking in the premiums and they ain't paying out the money. But and so that's why we're here to try to make them pay it. And but anyway, going back to where the insurance premiums again. When we talked about how they in the old days back in the 80s where they use your driving record to determine what you pay. And now it's based on your your finances, by your credit score, what you do for a living. So I started thinking, well, if they use your credit score to determine your insurance, what you pay, why isn't everybody just paying the same amount of insurance? Because your credit rating is your credit rating. But delving into it deeper, the insurance companies use different aspects of your credit rating to determine the premiums. Let me give you an example. Allstate looks at a couple of factors. They say if you're 60 days late on any bill in the past few months, or if you've opened up new accounts in the past 2 years, that's a negative. That's what they're looking at. That's one of the aspects. Progressive says Progressive will penalize you if you have less than 2 credit accounts, or new credit, or missed any debt payments over the last 2 months. So they take their various aspects of your credit rating, and they analyze it, I guess, with their data, and that's why they come up with different. Maybe that's why you shop one company and get one price, and shop somebody else and get something different. But
it seems kind of arbitrary, though, doesn't it? Because you could have various circumstances going on. It could be a simple matter of a delayed payment that just didn't get processed. There's any number of other contributing factors.
Sure.
Very cool. But yeah, I'm just here just to give you the information. I agree with y'all, but that's what they're doing now. I mean, that's why people. We talked about it last week. It's people who really can least afford to pay high premiums are the ones that get socked with the high premiums. You know, people. I mean, if you look at people who file bankruptcy, the biggest reason people file bankruptcy is not about having a good time on their credit cards. It's all based on medical bills. That's what people. If you look at the number one reason why people file bankruptcy, medical bills. So I'm in a jam. I can't pay I don't have insurance, or maybe it's not covered, or maybe the insurance company doesn't pay, and I have to file bankruptcy, or I'm late on my payments. They send it to a collection agency. That's going to affect my insurance rate, and I'm in the one who's the least the last position to be able to pay higher car insurance rates. But anyway, so I don't know, maybe somebody's had an experience with that. If you want to call in and give us your 2 cents worth, but Chuck, about that?
Well, no, I mean it seems very arbitrary, and if you've
had some experience with that and you want to tell us about it, or you've got questions about it, 855-765-1045 is the number to call. You can get on with our legal experts and get some guidance on it. Again, 855-765-1045, and those lines are open right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, the one thing that kind of goes beyond what you're saying is, always, people come to me and say, "Oh, I don't want to bring a claim against my, my insurance company." They almost feel this loyalty to their insurance company, and I've been with them for 10 years, and I just don't want to, bring a claim. Well, let me tell you something. They don't care about you or anybody else. They're looking at the bottom line. And my suggestion is to these, when I hear this from clients or from just friends or whatever, it's, every year you should be looking for a new insurance company, getting the best rate you can get. Because really, when it comes down to it, everybody treats the claim the same way. And that loyalty really gets you nowhere when it comes to them paying a claim.
Well, we'll talk about that and more when we come back after a quick break. You're listening to the Consumer Law Hour on 104.5 WOKV, Jacksonville's News and Talk. Quick break, right back with more with Chuck and Eddie Farah on 104.5 WOKV.
Hurricane season is heating up. Hello, I'm Action News Jack's Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish. The tropics are getting more active, and now is the time to prepare for hurricanes, not when it's knocking at your door.
For a preparation list, check the WOKV Hurricane Guide, brought to you by Clay Electric Co-op and Big Fish Roofing on WOKV.com and in the WOKV app.
This is Eddie Farah of Farah and Farah. Over the years, you've seen and heard a lot from me on TV and radio.
And I'm Chuck Farah. You've seen a good deal of me, too.
Together, we've been offering valuable information about how you can protect yourself when you've been injured.
We've warned you about people who may try to take advantage of you.
And we've offered free consultations to answer questions you may have. We hope this information has been helpful, because it's been our pleasure bringing it to you for so many years.
To offer even more help, our website, farandfarah.com, has a wealth of practical information about a wide range of situations that may affect you.
From automobile accidents and medical malpractice to products liability and nursing home abuse, we've worked hard to give you the facts you need to know if you find yourself in a difficult situation.
Whether you hire us someday or not, we think it's important to keep you informed because to us, it's all about helping people.
If we can help you, visit farahfarah.com or call 396-5555 today. Office Jacksonville.
This message is sponsored by the Florida A&M University Medical Marijuana Education and Research Initiative, the Florida Association of Broadcasters, and this radio station.
Where I'm from, marijuana is legal. Can I use it in Florida? Nah, it's illegal here. 20 grams or less is a misdemeanor, and more than 20 grams is a felony. Well, I have epilepsy. Should I try to get a medical marijuana prescription? Now that's legal, but talk to your doctor first to see if it's a qualifying condition and if medical marijuana is even right for you.
Hey, guys.
Thanks.
Do you guys do employment law or are you strictly personal injury stuff?
What if you could adapt, deliver, and succeed in new ways with new customers? At Comcast Business, we're committed to helping you not just bounce back, but bounce forward. That's why we're offering powerful and
all right, cool.
And voice. Now for only $35 each a month when you buy both and sign up for EcoBill and AutoPay with a 2-year agreement. It'll help you stay ahead with a network you can count on. Stay connected with 24/7 support and thrive with flexible solutions that work wherever you are. Call 1-800-501-6000 or go online today to find out more. Comcast Business. Offer ends 8/21/2020. Restrictions apply. New customers only with 35 megabits internet and one voice mobility line. Early termination fee applies. Enrollment in EcoBill and AutoPay required. Equipment installation taxes and fees extra. Subject to change.
Over half of all men suffer from ED or PE. Here's a message from Prime Men's Medical Center.
Hi, I'm Dr. Rubinsky. If you're not the man you used to be in the bedroom and Viagra, Cialis, or Levitra have let you down, Prime Men's Medical Center offers custom blended medications. Men are lasting 30, 60, 90 minutes or longer, and it's affordable.
Call 904-217-5646. See results on your first visit guaranteed or pay nothing. 904-217-5646.
Trust is a big issue in selling your home. Am I right? Hi, everybody. It's Brian Kilmeade. For the agent I trust in Jacksonville, Phil Aiken with Aiken Home Team Keller Williams Realty. Jacksonville's real estate authority. You know that. Moving is so stressful, and choosing the wrong agent will make it even worse. That's why I strongly recommend you call Phil Aiken. Phil already has the buyers. Thousands of buyers looking to buy today. That's why with Phil, you will sell your home faster, safely, and for more money. Hundreds of families have trusted Phil and his team this past year alone. And while the average agent only sells, about 3 homes a year and make big promises, Phil Aiken guarantees in writing that he will sell your home at your agreed to price, or he will buy it himself. It's all about trust. Call my friend Phil Aiken at 904-500-PHIL. That's 904-500-7445, or visit philhasthebuyers.com. That's philhasthebuyers.com.
Now, the WOKV First Alert Forecast.
Sunshine, hot and humid through this afternoon. We'll see a few widely scattered inland storms develop by late in the day. A high in the mid-90s, dropping tonight into the mid-70s with scattered evening storms that will be heavy in spots. It's a 7 on the WOKV weather meter. Partly sunny, hot and humid tomorrow. Scattered afternoon storms. Your Sunday high 94. And Monday and Tuesday will be partly sunny, scattered afternoon storms, and highs in the low 90s. From the First Alert Weather Center, I'm Action News Jax Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish for 104.5 WOKV.
Jacksonville, we're back on the Consumer Law Hour on 104.5 WOKV. Call in now, 855-765-1045 to speak with our legal experts, Eddie Farah, Chuck Farah from the law firm of Farah Farah. Waiting on your calls. Again, 855-765-1045. Fellas, I've got Brian from St. Augustine on the line. He's got a question for you regarding some employment law. Brian, you're on the Consumer Law Hour.
Hey, Brian.
Hey guys, thanks, Son. I really appreciate you taking the time to speak with me.
Sure.
I had a question. I was a salaried employee that was forced to work a non-salaried position for 4 months. I was not paid any overtime. I was not doing the job that I was salaried for. My actual salary was a lower rate than a driver would have made, which was the job that I was doing. I wasn't compensated for any overtime that was done. I wasn't compensated for hours that I did on call. And on top of that, I was threatened with termination when I wanted my commissions to be process, and then eventually I was terminated based on fabricated information from the manager of my office. So I have a wrongful termination and unpaid about $8,000 to $10,000 of unpaid commissions, and then about probably $2,000 in overtime. So I didn't know if there was someone you could refer me to.
Yeah, we do.
Someone in your firm.
But yeah, sure. We can find somebody to help you. But you've got several things going on there. And Brian, first of all, the termination thing may be difficult because Florida is an at-will state. Unless they violate the law, like they fire you based on race, religion, national origin, one of the protected classes under that Title VII, you can get fired for anything, basically, unless it breaks law. But when it comes to commissions, Florida has a great consumer-friendly statute that not only gives you the commissions, but there are treble damages, which means the court can give you triple what you lost and make the other side pay all your attorney's fees and costs. So when it comes to lost commissions, you've got good protection there. The second thing that you're protected is with the overtime. And because, I think they're trying to classify you as an independent contractor where they don't have to pay you any benefits.
Or maybe as a manager, and he's not really a manager, and it depends on the facts of the situation.
Were they trying to say you were that's a good point. Were they trying to say you were like a manager?
Well, I was a sales rep, and the sales rep is a salary plus commission job. It's W-2, but when I would get paid, my paycheck would always show, regardless of hours that I worked when I was a sales rep, which I understand it may include working more than 40 hours. So I was paid an hourly rate that was always equal to 1/52nd of
of your salary,
of my salary. But when when they forced me, we were shorthanded. They forced me for 4 months. My manager did, to work as a service representative where I was making deliveries, and I was working overtime making deliveries, and I was required to be on call, which is not part of the job as a sales rep. Plus, I wasn't able to do my job properly as a sales rep. I couldn't make those sales calls that I was supposed to make. And then the wrongful termination came in when they said, well, now that your numbers are down, so we're going to fire you. They put me on a 60-day action plan and fired me the next day.
Okay.
So it wasn't even.
Well, I think, listen, we'll get you to somebody who really is an expert on this, but
I think you're definitely got something worth pursuing.
You do, because when they take you out of that commission sales rep position and moved you into that other position, then you're no longer a salary. You're no longer an exempt employee. Is how I would look at it now.
I was actually my hourly rate was lower than the hourly rate of a service rep.
Wow.
So they would owe me $1.50 or $2 an hour for 4 months.
Yeah. Were you supervising people or managing people?
No.
Yeah, but how could you? No, you're not going to be exempt there.
No.
Yeah.
He should leave his name and number with Scott.
Leave your information with Scott. I'll be in phone contact with you on Monday.
Thank you so much, guys. I really, really
good luck on that. Let us know how it turns out. I'll leave you a phone number. You can call us back.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, brother. If you'll just stay on the line for me, I'll get your information in just a moment. We'll get you some guidance on that and get you sorted out. The Consumer Law Hour will continue our second half of the program coming up after this quick news break. You're listening to the Consumer Law Hour on 104.5 WOKV, Jacksonville's News and Talk.
When you hear these tones, you know the WOKV Severe Weather Center is activated. You are never more than 10 minutes away from an urgent severe weather report. This is 104.5 WOKV, Jacksonville's News and Talk.
News, I'm Karen McHugh. Not waiting for Congress, President Trump has scheduled a news conference for 3:30 p.m. Eastern, where it's expected he'll announce the signing of an executive order for a second coronavirus relief package.
While the president admits the economy does need a boost, he also remains optimistic that the economy is bouncing back from its pandemic lows. We got some new data from the Labor Department on Friday, giving us an indication of where things stand. The July jobs report showing that employers were able to add some 1.7 million new jobs last month, bringing the unemployment rate down to 10.2%. But of course, that remains above double digits.
Fox's Mark Meredith. Demanding answers from the government. Thousands took to the streets of Beirut, Lebanon today in reaction to Tuesday's massive explosion that killed over 150 and wounded thousands. Hundreds of thousands are now homeless. America is listening to Fox News.
This program is brought to you by Veterans Elite Services.
I'm Joe Padlow, and when I retired from the Marines in 2014, I started Veterans Elite Services, a cleaning company to employ military veterans. Our deep clean process includes an EPA-certified virus-side fogging system to disinfect at a deeper level. This year alone, we've protected over 750,000 square feet of commercial and residential buildings and medical and dental offices from COVID-19, SARS, and other viruses. Call me, and I'll be pleased to tell you how we can do that for you. 904-468-3874, veteranseliteservices.com.
It's Rich Jones. We are deep into wet season. An increase in rain usually means an increase in sod webworm activity. These worms can quickly kill your lawn. You invest too much time to see it die. Treatment involves treating the larva stage of the worms, and then a second treatment is needed to completely kill them because the eggs will continue to hatch. Whether you have concerns about your lawn, termites, or other pests, call the best. Peninsular Pest Control, the award-winning Critter Getters. 389-3491, crittergetter.com.
Easy, honest pricing, worth my drive. Hi, I'm Larry Berkins from Berkins Chevy in McClenny, and those aren't my words. Those are the words of our customers. We don't play games to sell a vehicle. We do business the right way. All of those incentives you hear other dealers advertising, well, you get those at every Chevy dealer. And if Chevy makes it, we have it or can get it. Come on. So make the easy drive to deal with Berkins Chevy. It's worth your time. Highway 90 in the heart of McClenny or BerkinsChevy.com. Chevy, find new roads. Come on.
As you get back to business, small things can make a big difference. Like marking safe distances with floor tape and posting reminders to wash hands. As always, Grainger is here to help, offering supplies and solutions for every industry. Free access to product specialists, 24/7 support, safety recovery guides, and more. It's part of our commitment to help you adapt and recover in these challenging times. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Alexa, how do I drive more customers into my business?
First, people will need to hear about you. Then you need to be online where they look for you. Then you need
I don't have time for that. I need to run my business.
Okay, searching for a local team that can help.
Local Solutions. Visit JacksonvilleLocalSolutions.com today.
WFOX Fox 30 has been removed from the service of Dish Network after the satellite provider refused to agree to a fair deal for a new retransmission consent agreement with Cox Media Group. If you're affected by this decision to deprive you of important local news and programming during these critical times, make your voice heard. Call Dish today at 1-800-333-3474. That's 1-800-333-3474 and demand that they put Fox 30 back on Dish.
Now, the WOKV First Alert Forecast.
Hot and humid today, a 7 on the WOKV weather meter. Sunshine will give way to at least a few widely scattered, mainly inland storms late this afternoon. Mid-90s for highs. Feel like temperatures around 105. Scattered storms early this evening will be heavy in spots. Keep an eye to the sky, clearing later on, dropping into low to mid-70s. Partly sunny, hot and humid tomorrow. Again, there'll be some scattered afternoon storms that pop with a high in the mid-90s. And Monday and Tuesday, right on into Wednesday. Partly sunny, scattered afternoon storms, and highs in the low 90s. With the First Alert Forecast, I'm Action News Jax Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish for 104.5 WOKV.
Now, Safe Touch Security First Alert Traffic.
Taking a look at the Jacksonville motorways, I'm seeing a little bit of a delay happening on 295 at the Merrill Exchange as you're coming off the Dames Point Bridge. If you happen to be passing through that area, use a little caution as you're making your way through. Be on the lookout. No details yet as to whether it's just a breakdown or if there might have been a little bumper hockey involved. But it does look like a building delay on 295, the East Beltway, just this side of Merrill Road as you're coming off the Dames Point Bridge. So use caution through that area. With Jacksonville's most frequent traffic, I'm Scott Young for 104.5 WOKV, Jacksonville's News and Talk.
The following hour was paid for by the host and does not reflect the opinion of 104.5 WOKV or Cox Media Group.
Jacksonville, we're back on the Consumer Law Hour on 104.5 WOKV, Jacksonville's News and Talk. Lines are open at 855-765-1045 if you'd like to speak with our legal experts. Eddie Farah, Chuck Farah on the line waiting for your call so they can give you some legal guidance. We've got Patrick over in San Marco, and he's got a question regarding a concern about an accident life insurance claim. Patrick, you're on the Consumer Law Hour.
Hey, Patrick.
Hey, guys. Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call.
No problem.
Sure. The situation is I have an 86-year-old mother that last year I bought a big cruise package to Antarctica. It was almost $50,000, and it was an 18-day package. And part of that, I was required to secure a travel policy. And it started off on a trip. The package included 2 days in Buenos Aires with some tours and such. And on one of the tours, my mom, who was in great health, caught her toe on some cobblestones and fell down and fractured her face in 4 places. And she was rushed to the hospital, and with a bad, her eye socket was fractured, her nose was fractured, her jaw was fractured. And long story short, she went to this great hospital, and one thing after another. It took them 2.5 days to stop the nosebleed, and then her blood pressure crashed, and then she got an infection, and she became septic. And then, long story short, after 30 days in the hospital in Buenos Aires, she ended up passing away. I purchased the package with my credit card, and that automatically came with a $100,000 accidental policy, and the credit card paid that right away. But the travel insurance that I bought had a $50,000 element for accidental death, and they're denying the claim because they say it wasn't a direct cause of the accident, because it was one health issue after another that popped up. And my mother was in excellent health at 86, and again, one that almost was free that I got through my credit card paid immediately, and the other one, they're denying the claim. Right. So what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's a claim you need to really take a look at, because the law, just because the law you're accepted as you are. If you're older, if you have a bad back and somebody causes an accident, they don't get a free ride because you had a previous bad back. If they've injured you, then they're responsible for their actions. So the policy would apply. Exactly. The policy didn't have an exclusion. You got to be in perfect health and then pass away before we buy you the $50,000. It's an accidental life policy. She had an accident, and as a result of the accident, she passed away. Otherwise, she would have been back home with you. So,
and it comes down to the medical doctors giving an opinion to that effect. Her death was started by this accident,
right?
Or the complications that led to the death were caused by the accident,
right. So that's something we could help you with. Do you have the insurance policy?
I do.
Yeah. If you want to leave your phone number with Scott, I can call you Monday on that. But
okay.
Have you? Well, how long has it been? Again,
she passed away. The trip was in December. She passed away at the beginning of January.
Okay, so it hasn't been. Okay. And the policy was purchased here in Florida?
Well, that's a little tricky because I purchased it online, and because she was, for some reason, I actually purchased it with, she has a home in Arizona and Minnesota, and I actually put her as the principal. There was something on there, but I think it was probably Arizona because she was. We were both listed on the policy, but she was principal.
Yeah, it's okay. I just wanted to make sure you didn't have any. Some states have real short statutes of limitations, so I just wanted to make sure that you were okay with that. But if it happened in January, you should be okay with every state in the union. If you're interested, we could talk to you about it in more detail. Okay, well, thanks, and we'll look forward to talking to you, Patrick.
Yeah, you can just leave your information with Scott on the line, and we'll get back with you on Monday.
Patrick, stay put for me, and I'm going to get your details in just a second.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not unusual for an insurance company to deny.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, because they'll save the money. But the thing about it is, on these life insurance claims, again, in Florida, in most states, I mean, all the laws are similar, that they give you a right, if you have to file a suit to enforce an insurance policy, because remember, the insurance policy is written by the insurance company, and they write it, so the law has to even the level of playing field, so it gives the consumer, the purchaser, additional rights that the insurance company has to follow. So, I mean, those cases allow for payments of attorney's fees and costs if you win, so it doesn't cost you. I mean, it wouldn't be fair for you to have to go hire a lawyer and pay them $20,000 to go collect a $50,000 life insurance company policy. So if you're successful, then they're made to pay your attorney's fees and costs, so that you're made whole and it doesn't cost you anything.
Yeah.
And also there's interest and penalties on top of that, because they owe them interest from the date the policy was due, which was back in January.
Yeah, when the courts, also when the courts are, they're trying to interpret the language of the policy, they'll give the so-called benefit of the doubt to the insured, because it is a one-way contract.
It was written by the insurance policy.
It was written by the insurance company.
And you got to take it. It's not like a negotiation. I mean, Patrick couldn't go say, well, I've read the insurance policy contract. I don't like this provision. Can you take this out? If you want that life insurance policy, you got to pay. You got to accept it as is. So with that in mind, the law does give the consumer the benefit of the doubt when it comes to interpretation of the policy.
Sure.
So, for instance, did she pass away as a result of an accident? I mean, under the law,
could be an issue that depends on the language of the policy.
Yeah, and that's going to be interpreted. If there's an ambiguity there, any ambiguity in the policy is interpreted in favor of the consumer, the purchaser of the policy. So there are things to look at for sure. Yep. Okay.
Well, I've got his details, so you guys can follow up with him in just a bit.
No problem. And that, what we just talked about, applies to every insurance policy: car insurance, homeowners, and so forth.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on. We talked about. There's a lot of stuff about every day on the news. They're talking about undocumented workers. People are here illegally working, and they have rights. People don't know this, but they've got rights. I mean, they're here in the U.S. They may be here illegally. They may be here undocumented. But if a person who is undocumented is involved in an accident and is injured, they've got every right that everybody else has. And what I mean by that, if you injure an undocumented worker, you're not allowed to bring up the fact that he's here illegally or he's undocumented, because under the law in the United States, that information has nothing to do with the accident. The prejudicial effect of that information outweighs anything that's relevant to the case. So under the law, what the court is basically saying is, this guy may be here and he shouldn't be here, or he's not supposed to be here, but he's injured. He has every right that you have. And the same thing happens with if an undocumented worker causes an accident, and he's at fault. You're not allowed to bring up the fact that he's undocumented. What's he doing here? So it works both ways.
Right.
In both situations. So a lot of people don't like that. They think it's not fair. But all the courts throughout the country have upheld this argument that undocumented workers, the fact that they're here and they shouldn't be here, does not affect the value of their claim, even on workers' compensation claims. So you got a guy that's got
based on a relevance. Is it really relevant?
Yeah, it's not relevant.
It's not relevant.
It's down to fundamental equality under the law, doesn't it? They're here. You're here.
Yeah, you're here
with us here.
Yeah, you may not be a citizen, but you're here, so you get the same rights as everybody else. We don't get all the rights as everybody else, obviously, but under a personal injury case, you are treated as an equal, even if you're injured on the job. I mean, if you've got somebody who's injured on the job, they want to file a workers' comp claim, and they've even got a fake Social Security number.
Yeah.
You can still file your workers' compensation claim. Now, I've seen people who've come to us who have been involved in accidents, and they'll come to us and, they're injured in an accident and they're okay with it. Then the passenger maybe is an undocumented worker. and they're very reluctant. They feel like, they thought about coming or hiring a lawyer, but they're timid. They don't want to do it because they're afraid something's going to happen, that, they're going to find out that we're undocumented and deport us. But a lot of people who are undocumented don't file claims because they're afraid of what's going to happen after the fact. But in the course of the litigation, their claim is not affected by the fact of their status here. So even under workers' compensation, if you know someone who's undocumented and they're injured on the job, they are entitled to their workers' compensation benefits, and they'll get them. Right? Okay.
Well, that sounds like a good point to take a break right there as we're switching gears. So we'll be back with our final segment of the Consumer Law Hour after these quick messages on 104.5 WOKV, Jacksonville's News and Talk.
The 3 big things you need to know on air every 15 minutes, plus in the WOKV app, and now in your email. It's free every morning. To sign up, click the newsletter button on WOKV.com or in the WOKV app.
Hello, I'm Eddie Farah. After more than 35 years of practice, there are some things I've learned about our profession that are absolutely crucial to personal injury law. We deal with serious, often permanent, life-changing injuries. And of course, we deal with real tragedy and families that have just lost a family member through the carelessness of another party. Over the years, this is what has really shaped our culture of empathy, compassion, and respect for every person who comes in for a consultation. They come in feeling like they have no power. They feel alone. We start out by explaining what the law provides, like lost wages and future medical payments. You can see the change in a client when they start to realize that they're not alone. They have power. Their story will be heard. Their quality of life and their dignity can be restored. Our philosophy of compassion and respect is something you'll feel because it's not just a philosophy, it's who we are. Farah and Farah, protecting you and your family. Call us at 396-5555, Jacksonville.
Businesses are starting to bounce back. But what if you could do better than that? What if you could adapt, deliver, and succeed in new ways with new customers? At Comcast Business, we're committed to helping you not just bounce back, but bounce forward. That's why we're offering powerful and reliable internet and voice, now for only $35 each a month when you buy both and sign up for EcoBill and AutoPay with a 2-year agreement. It'll help you stay ahead with a network you can count on, stay connected with 24/7 support, and thrive with flexible solutions that work wherever you are. Call 1-800-501-6000 or go online today to find out more. Comcast Business. Offer ends 8/21/2020. Restrictions apply. New customers only with 35 megabits internet and 1 voice mobility line. Early termination fee applies. Enrollment in EcoBill and AutoPay required. Equipment, installation, taxes, and fees extra. Subject to change.
Let's say you have ED, male impotence, or maybe you suffer from PE and can't satisfy your partner. If you have either or both of these embarrassing conditions, Prime Men's Medical Center has the solution. Meet Dr. Rabinski, a specialist in men's health.
If you're experiencing ED or PE, Prime Men's Medical Center has custom blended medications designed just for you. There's no pain and no surgery. If you have diabetes, high blood pressure, or prostate issues, not a problem. If Viagra, Cialis, or Levitra have let you down, Prime Men's Medical Center has patients lasting 30, 60, 90 minutes or longer. You'll see results on your first visit guaranteed, or your visit is free. And best of all, it's affordable.
For a private consultation with our highly skilled physicians, call 904-217-5646. We guarantee that you'll see results on your first visit, or there's no charge for your consult. Call Prime Men's Medical Center now at 904-217-5646. That's 904-217-5646.
Now, the WOKV First Alert Forecast.
Sunshine, hot and humid through this afternoon. We'll see a few widely scattered inland storms develop by late in the day. A high in the mid-90s, dropping tonight into the mid-70s with scattered evening storms that will be heavy in spots. It's a 7 on the WOKV weather meter. Partly sunny, hot and humid tomorrow. Scattered afternoon storms. Your Sunday high 94. And Monday and Tuesday will be partly sunny, scattered afternoon storms, and highs in the low 90s. From the First Alert Weather Center, I'm Action News Jax Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish for 104.5 WOKV.
Your hurricane prep kit or evacuation plan may look a bit different this year. The WOKV Hurricane Guide is your one-stop resource for all things 2020 hurricane season. Brought to you by Clay Electric Co-op and Big Fish Roofing. Check it out now on WOKV.com or the free WOKV app.
Back on the Consumer Law Hour, our final segment today. Lines are open at 855-765-1045. Eddie Farah, Chuck Farah, waiting for your calls. 855-765-1045 on the Consumer Law Hour.
Yeah, getting back.
Let's wrap it up.
Okay, getting back to this, we're going back to the car insurance stuff. But if you're interested, you can go to choicetrust.com and you get a free Clue report, Clue auto report. You can get one a year. It'll tell you any claims that you've had the last 7 years. So, I mean, that's something you can get on your own at choicetrust.com. So it'll help you see what's going on. Because maybe, you never know. I mean, you may have a kid at school that maybe got in an accident, filed a claim you don't know anything about, but that will tell you all claims filed against that vehicle in the last 7 years. We're getting into, Scott, we're in the hurricane season, and there's that price gouging statute in Florida, which is really ambiguous. They take, you can be fined $1,000 per violation, up to $25,000 within a 24-hour period for price gouging. Let's say a storm's coming through, there's no power, and you're selling generators. But what they look at to determine if you're price gouging, they take the average retail price of that product for, let me see, I think it's 30 days. Yeah, 30 days before the declaration.
In the local area?
Of a state of the state of emergency, right.
So within the whole state, or, because, prices differ from.
Well, I don't know you're right.
Yeah.
Well, they look at what the price was for the generator 30 days prior to the state of emergency.
Yeah.
So let's say, you get generators, and then, there's a storm, and you start selling generators that you bought for $500 for $5,000, and somebody tries to file a claim against it. And it's not just money. I mean, if you're found guilty, it's a second-degree misdemeanor.
Right.
You can go to jail for this thing, okay? But anyway, the question is, here's how they determine if you're price gouging. Is the price you're selling the generator at, does it grossly exceed the price 30 days before the declaration of emergency? What is gross disparity?
That's pretty.
Gross disparity can mean anything. That doesn't tell me. It could be. I mean, what about supply and demand? I mean, that's like anything else. I mean, prices go up when there's a demand.
Yeah, is that a gross,
Listen, yeah.
I'm willing to pay, I'm willing to pay $5,000. That's not a big deal.
Why is that price gouging? Here's a demand. There's a limited supply, and I've got a demand. I mean, when this whole thing started, toilet paper and paper towels were going 3 or 4 times. Is that price gouging under the statute?
Yeah. That's the leeway they give.
Yeah, so that's why. I mean, if you're ever getting caught in that situation, you have to argue that, it does not grossly exceed that. There are market forces at play here of supply and demand.
It's those outliers from the market after the event. I think that.
Well, there are some people.
But it's also the principle of the long-term demand, the established principle on it, as opposed to the immediate demand. It's like, I have it, and you want it, and it's going to cost you, and that doesn't fly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was just looking at some cases because there are some people that got fined. There's somebody in Winter Park. There was a damaged roof, and they gave an estimate of $30,000 for tree removal. And, that's a lot of money to remove some trees, and that never considered price. That's probably gross. So, I mean, yeah. And then there was a guy in Santa Rosa County that sold generators from a pickup truck. They sold 22 generators at $650 each, and the investigators determined that the retail was $300. So, I mean, is
after a storm, he sold?
Yeah. This is it.
And he got popped for that?
Yeah.
Wow.
Double the price. So anyway, you have to look at what he paid for them too. Maybe he got gouged too before he had to pay an extra fee. But anyway, I was just looking at some cases, but it applies to anything. It's not just generators. It's services around the house. People coming to remove trees, whatever it is. So it's all storm related. Anyway, so hopefully we won't have to use this statute, and hopefully we won't have any storms this year.
Yeah.
The other thing is, I don't know how much time we have left, but we get calls all the time.
A minute or two, yeah.
Okay, well, Scott, we always get calls at the office A lot of people who maybe they're upset about something that happened with their healthcare provider. They're not really happy about the outcome, or they're not sure if there was a mistake made. And even if you don't have a medical malpractice claim, even if you don't have a permanent injury from something that you think went wrong, or maybe you're not sure if something went wrong, and you can't get a straight answer from your healthcare provider, there's a way through the state of Florida to get some answers, because under the Agency for Healthcare Administration, AHCA, if you file a complaint with them, they are required to do an investigation. Now, they're not going to sue the doctor or the nurse or whoever it is to get you any money or compensation, but they will complete a thorough investigation of your complaint. And you will get some answers, because sometimes people, that's all they want.
Right.
Maybe the doctor hasn't explained it to them properly, or didn't take the time to explain it, or the nurse. And a lot of times people just don't know what happened.
Now, would the results of that investigation, would that be something that could be submitted in a claim as evidence or something potentially actionable?
Yeah, it's there. They're going to investigate it and give you an opinion.
There will be an opinion that a lawyer could probably eventually rely on to pursue.
Exactly. But see, under the law, under the law in Florida, that's not going to work. You're going to have to go get an affidavit from other healthcare doctors. There's a long process. If you're involved in a medical malpractice claim, you just don't go file a lawsuit the day after something happens. There are numerous pre-suit screening requirements which must be met before you can even go to the courthouse and file a lawsuit. It's not like you're involved in an auto accident. Tomorrow you go to the courthouse, file your lawsuit. In a medical malpractice situation, it's a lot more involved, and there's a lot more work to be done before you even file the lawsuit. But I'm thinking for a lot of people who just want answers or want to know what happened, the Agency for Healthcare Administration is a good place to start.
Yeah, that's good.
Go to their website, and they'll tell you how to do it.
That's a fine way to wrap it up, making people aware of another service available to them to help them out and give them some guidance and some answers. Fellas, as always, appreciate the opportunity to work with you. Thank you so much for your continued support here at WOKV. Thanks to all of our callers today, and we look forward to talking to you again next week.
See you
same
next
bad
week,
time,
Scott.
same bad channel for the Consumer Law Hour on 104.5 WOKV, Jacksonville's News and Talk.